Hello again, my name's Diane and I design and make patchwork quilts, and I've called this one the Dahlia Patch, and if you're interested to see how I made this, please continue watching. So she's made of 3-inch half square triangles in a yellow, green, red and white combination. Very quick to put together, and I'll show you how I started. And this is the lovely material. There's a white, very delicate white, crisp white background with a embossed flower and then an emerald green, and this will be the leaves for all of the flowers. And the yellow variable star flowers this is the centre part of the flower, and the petals are in this. It's a lemon background with red and orange, although it's reading very pale. It shows up a little bit better there. So there'll be enough of a contrast between the white background and the lemon. And this is the collection of red. So the centre of the flowers are in that yellow. So I think there's enough variation in there to make interesting blocks. So let's get sewing. And there we go, step 1 is complete. I have cut all of my fabric, and you can see here that there is a very pale green. That's an introduction, that wasn't in the original fabric selection, and I've decided to break up the background of the white. I decided I didn't want such a big expanse of white, so I'm going to break that up with this pale green. And the fabric cuts I've used are mainly fat quarters, but also some yardage. You could definitely use any leftover 5-inch charms that you have. If you've got any leftover charm packs, you could make this a scrappy quilt. It would look lovely as a scrappy quilt. My squares are 4 3/4 inches. I put 2 together, right sides together, sew a 1/4 inch seam, cut on the diagonal, and that gives me a 3-inch half square triangle. So let's have a close-up at the design. Without a border, it measures 55.5 inches square, and essentially it's made up of 3 blocks. There's the large red flower, a sashing at the bottom and the side, and a little block, and these make up the variable stars. So you need 9 of the large red flowers, you need 12 of the sashing, and you need 4 of these blocks to make this size quilt. So let's construct the big red flowers. So I start off first of all with a 4 patch. So I have the gold for the centre of the flower, like I said, 3-inch half square triangles, and there we have the red on the outside. Now I've added another row around that central square, so it's now a 16 patch, and you can see that central edging around the yellow, there's a full square of that fabric there on each of these. And then there's a new introduction of a paler colour here, and then the deep red. So that's step 2. And this is the placement of the last row around the blocks, and you can see that I'm following the colours out again, like so. So I'll sew these together and then we'll have a closer look. And there's our lovely first block complete. It's 16 inches square, and you'll need 9 of those. So I think that looks really lovely. There's enough contrast in the 3 different reds, well, the 4 with the darker red on the outside to make it work. There's plenty of movement. So yes, 9 of those, 1 down, 8 to go. And that's a pretty little cornerstone. You need 4 of these. So it's just a 4 patch, half square triangles with a golden yellow centre. And to assemble the sashing, we take a 4 patch, and if you look closely on that linear fabric, I've just arranged the half square triangles so they form another little pattern. And then we have the half square triangles green. Whoops, I don't want that to happen. There we go. And so the green parts, half square triangles, form the leaves, and they're closest to the 4 patch. And then the yellow are the petals for the variable star flower. And when you've made all of your blocks, you can start the exciting part of putting the quilt together. So basically we take the main red flower and we add sashing to the side and the bottom and a little cornerstone. So we do that for 4 of the red blocks. And there we are, beautiful. This quilt comes together really quickly. So if you're in a hurry for a quilt for somebody and you have lots of scraps, this might be the perfect thing for you. And this is the layout. As you can see, there were the 4 blocks with a sashing down each side across the bottom and the cornerstone. Then there were 4 more blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they have sashing. The 2 on the bottom have sashing to the right, and the 2 on the right hand side have sashing to the bottom. And then there's this little square here without any sashing. So I'm just going to sew them all together in rows, and then I'm going to use some of the pale yellow background to put a border around the outside. And I think that looks really lovely now. I'm really pleased with it. So it's a variation on the Filigree quilt I made earlier in the year, but it's just so full of summer. So I'm calling this one the Dahlia Patch. Well, I don't know if anybody else in the UK is experiencing delays in delivery for cotton batting, 100% cotton batting, but it's took quite a while for the batting to arrive for the Dahlia quilt, but it has arrived today. In the meantime, while I was waiting for the delivery, I've put together this lovely little scrappy children's quilt. I'm going to leave this now, get back to the Dahlia quilt. So the walking foot's on, and I'm quilting this in an off-white, and I've put a little border around the outside to match this pale yellow. There's 100% cotton batting and 100% cotton, white cotton on the back. I'm just going to quilt it now in a simple crosshatch, and I'll show you when it's finished. And I'm just finishing the binding now. So it's a white binding, machine stitched, and I always put a little row of stitching just on the very edge because I think it makes the binding stronger. So if it's going to fray, it's not going to go anywhere else apart from the very edge. And then I've got a nice little mitered corner. So almost finished now. Get this done and then I'll show it you in situ. And that's the back. Very simple. And there she is, all finished, the Dahlia Patch. I think she looks beautiful. She's 61 inches square, 155 centimetres, and I think she'd be perfect for the summer. You know, when it gets too hot to have a duvet and you just have a cotton sheet, you could put that on top just to dress it, just dress the bedroom, make it look nice. So if you've enjoyed watching this video, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and at the time of filming, I'm on 471 subscribers. And when you get to 500, apparently you can open up a community section on YouTube. And then any of you that are interested in posting videos of quilts you've made yourself in these patterns, I know lots of you have. You've sent me comments to say that you've made a particular quilt in a different colour. Then we could have a community page where we could share our images. That's if you'd like to. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. Bye.